Good morning, beloved. Beloveds, there's more than one of you. I'm having one of those mornings. One, it's Monday. Two, I was up too late last night working on a video issue. Three, I made a doctor's appointment. Ironic, apparently Thursday's going to be doctor day. I have an eye specialist appointment in the morning, and then I went ahead and scheduled a GP doctor in the afternoon because I got stuff going on and I need to get it sorted. Okay. And I was just double checking who I should say. Our author today is Shirley Briggs. So, okay, it is April 18th. Our title is A Place of Silence. The first quote is, "Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear." And that is Isaiah 65:24. And then the other quote is, "We are like God. We are God as us, so we experience divine companionship. We walk and talk with the Spirit within. We have but to speak, and God answers." That is The Science of Mind, and that is page 585. Yeah, 585. Imagine a place of peace. Create a picture in your mind of what it would be like, and imagine yourself walking into this private sanctuary. Inside, there's a very close friend. You can tell this friend anything you wish, since nothing shocks them, and they never judge. Any request you make of this friend is granted, so long as it is something that will be put into constructive use and not harm anyone. All you need to do is ask, then receive. Let us take a closer look at this picture and see the place of silence as being the innermost part of ourselves. It is that core of absolute knowingness inside us, which is undisturbed by anything that exists outside. The friend represents the divine presence which lives in this inner place of silence. When we enter our sanctuary and speak to the divine presence, everything we need is granted to us, just at the right moment. We learn to live from the awareness that we are truly expressions of the divine, and we are at peace. Each day I spend time in the sanctuary of peace at the core of my being. I speak, ask questions, and then rest in the silence, waiting for an answer, knowing that it comes in the right way and at the right time. Thank you, God. And that is Shirley Briggs. Okay. So there's a number of different kinds of spiritual practices. And the two that we talk about the most are treatment and meditation. We even have a class called treatment and meditation. And then we have a class called treatment and a class called meditation, where they kind of broke them out. And what I would tell you the difference between treatment and meditation is treatment is when we talk to God. Treatment is when we tell God what it is that we want, what our desires are, what's going on in our life. Now, meditation, on the other hand, is when we listen. And so what she is talking about is meditation. And there's a wide variety of meditations. And here's the really cool thing, because everybody sits there and goes, well, a lot of people say, oh, I can't meditate. Because they envision meditation as sitting cross-legged on a pillow, staring at a wall, or closing your eyes, with your hands in your lap, and you're all, yeah. No, meditation can be done in a number of different ways. That is one of them. You can also sit in a dark room or brightly lit room and listen to music. You can do what we like to call guided meditations, where you listen to someone who leads you down a path, a verbal path, and creates a picture in your mind. What she did at the very kind of beginning was almost that. She's like, go to this room, imagine your best friend. So that's a guided meditation where they use words, but you create the picture in your mind of where it is that you're going. And no two meditations are ever going to look the same. You can also do what we call walking meditations or moving meditations, and they can be done with music or with words or silently. We did a silent retreat. That was interesting. Get a whole bunch of ministers to be and ask them to be silent for 48 hours. It was interesting. I think it was actually 36. But point being, silence for 36 hours. And we did a number of different kinds of meditations, and we tried them all out to find out what works for us. But the benefit of what Shirley suggested is to do a meditation and to create that space. And sometimes I'll do that, especially when I would do the openings, when we were doing the Wednesday night services. When I would do the Wednesday night services and open, sometimes I would create that space. What I would do is I would invite you to create a place. And sometimes it would be a field, and sometimes it would be, whatever space is the most, and I'm going to use the word safe for you. Is it a library? Is it a cave? Is it a field? Is it in time? Is it out of time? Is it back in time? Is it what you imagine in the future? You create that. And I would engage all of your senses. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is it, if you were to touch it, what would it feel like? So I'm using the feel like in the emotional sense. Is it joyous and happy and creative, boisterous, or is it quiet and calm? Like, what do you hear? Do you hear waves in the background? Do you hear birds singing? All of that. And then what would you smell? And if it had a taste, because, I like to have the library with the two wingback chairs. And yes, I might have a pot of tea, and I might have scones, and they would be lemon curd scones, So engage all of your senses. Create that space. And one of the reasons why I had 2 wingback chairs is because this is the place that I go to meet God. I go and I sit in that chair, and I invite God to sit in the other chair. And sometimes there would be a figure in the chair, and sometimes it was definable, and sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes there wasn't anybody in the chair, but I still got the answer that I was seeking. So, and sometimes I got the answer when I went in. And sometimes I got the answer 2 or 3 days later, and that's the way it works. But the point is to create that space. And you are creating it within yourself, and to create it and to fill it out to the point that it is real. It is as real to yourself as you can make it. And I don't mean creating it in this world. Now, you want to create a representation of it? That's fine. Go for it. Trust me. I would love to have a room full of books with wingback chairs with a tea kettle, a little table in between. Maybe someday I will. Actually, every room in my house is full of books, but that's not what I'm talking about. The point is to create the space inside me. Inside you, to fill in that space, to make it as real as possible, but it only exists within you. Okay? It exists here, because that is the place that no matter what is going on around you, you can go there. And you can go there. And sometimes you just need to go there and sit down and take a couple of deep breaths. And sometimes you can go there with a burning question on your mind, and you can go, well, explain this to me. And you can go there in any state of mind. You can go there angry. You can go there sad. You can go there happy. It doesn't matter, because it's your space, and it's where you go to meet God. That is what she's talking about. And the more often you go there, the more real it will be, the more you will feel that connection to the divine, which is the whole goal of creating the space in the first place. So, you wonder what the mission today is? That's pretty much gonna be it. All right. So let's go back. Isaiah. Before they call, I will answer. And while they are speaking, I will hear. That is Isaiah 65:24. That is a promise of God, that God will always hear us. And God will always answer us. Now, God's time and our time, They're a little different. But the point is that we have to speak to God. And then we have to listen for the answer. All right. And then the science of mind. So that was Isaiah 65:24. We are like God. We are God as us. So we experience divine companionship. We walk and talk with the Spirit within. We have but to speak, and God answers. We are God having an experience as us. We are not all of God. We are not even a small part of God. We are a tiny splinter of God because God is so much bigger than us. And that's the amazing thing. But we are God having an experience. We are in a divine companionship. And we can throw up all the illusions that we're not, but that's the truth. All right, so that's from the Science of Mind text, page 585. All right, so she says, imagine a place of peace. Create a picture in your mind of what it would be like, and imagine yourself walking into this private sanctuary. That's what I'm talking about. I have it. I sort of described it to you. And the cool thing about my place is I can use absolutely any doorway to get there. I can walk into a cave and get there. I can walk through a wooden door and get there. I can walk through the front door of my house and get there. I can walk down a path into a forest and get into that room because that room exists where I am because it's mine. Inside, there is a very close friend. You can tell this friend anything you wish, since nothing shocks them, and they never judge. And God won't. God cannot judge. Spirit cannot judge. Because judgment is reserved for that which is outside of. Well, we live and move and have our being in God. God cannot judge. And God knows even before we speak. But any therapist will tell you that sometimes it is speaking the words which takes the power out. It takes the sting out of a situation. So God will always listen. And it is powerful to you to let the words flow. All right. Any request you make of this friend is granted so long as it is something that will be put into constructive use and not harm anyone. As long as it is within it is in alignment with God, the qualities of God. You know what they are: love, peace, kindness, joy, harmony, compassion, creativity, and such and so on. All you need to do is ask, then receive. Asking signals your willingness to receive. That is why we have to ask. Yes, God knows what we need. But until we are willing to receive, what's the point of God sending it to us? So that's what asking is about. It's about the willingness to receive. God already knows. Let us take a closer look at this picture and see the place of silence as being the innermost part of ourselves. That's why I'm talking about meditation. It is that core of absolute knowingness deep inside of us, which is undisturbed by anything that exists outside. What I like to call, or what Jesse calls, the place that nothing has ever been wrong, that place where we go to meet God, what I like to say is the place where we go to meet the unfiltered God. God not filtered through what we have been told by society, by culture, by religion, by the people that love us. That is where we go to meet the unfiltered God. And that's why we get to create it to look like whatever we want. The friend represents the divine presence which lives in this inner place of silence. When we enter our sanctuary and speak to the divine presence, everything we need is granted to us at just the right moment. I did say God's time is not necessarily our time. We learn to live from the awareness that we are truly expressions of the divine and we are at peace. And I do find that if I visit this place regularly, And if you haven't watched yesterday's service, please do. It's still up on Facebook and it is up on YouTube. Because Jesse talks about the value of the underworld, the underground, the tomb experience. It's to go there and let things go. Well, that is what this sanctuary is. It's a place where you can go and you can set everything down for a moment. And the great thing about a moment is a moment takes as long or as long as and as short or as short as you need. All right. A moment is not a measurement. It's as long or as short as you need. And so once you set everything down in this sanctuary and you have your conversation with Spirit, you can decide what you want to pick up and take back out. And maybe you got some stuff or a lot of stuff that you can just leave there. Because I promise you, if you need it and you go back to the sanctuary, it will still be there. But if you don't need it, the next time you visit that sanctuary, it won't be there. The value of letting go. I commend you yesterday's service. It was really good. All right. We learn to live from the awareness that we are truly expressions of the divine and we are at peace. Okay. And after the number of text messages I've seen, I'm glad I silenced my phone. Each day I spend in the sanctuary of peace at the core of my being. Or I spend time in the sanctuary of peace at the core of my being. I speak, ask questions, and then rest in the silence, waiting for an answer, knowing that it comes in the right way at the right time. Thank you, God. All right, Shirley, that was pretty amazing, right? Shirley Briggs. Some of these names I know, some of them I don't. This book is a collection that was collected more than 30 years ago. So, and from the Science of Mind archives. So, and they're still relevant today. They're still amazing today. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it? If you haven't created the sanctuary, that is your mission, to create your sanctuary. Engage all 5 of your senses. You want to create a physical representation in this world, that's great, but create it in your mind and your heart. And then visit it regularly. That's the mission, should we choose to accept it. All right, beloveds. The other mission, same one, every single day, to do something loving for yourself, to do something kind for yourself, to do something compassionate for yourself, whatever it looks like. Big, small, does not matter. Point is to do it. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. You are a beloved child of God, always and forever. So, create that habit. Create that default setting. Create that first response. Because if you can do loving, kind, compassionate response for yourself, you can do it for anybody. Trust me on this. Best place to practice is right here. Okay. And as usual, I'm going to encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body, to go get that face full of bright light first thing in the morning. The sun was out this morning, so that's where my bright light came from. The earlier in your day, reset your hormones. It does help support your energy of the day and your ability to sleep at night. That's why I encourage it. I also encourage you to drink plenty of water. I am a big believer in hydration. We are 80% water. We need to refill it. And as summer comes in, we're going to need more. And last, but certainly not least, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around us all the time. It is a state of mind. It is a state of consciousness. And the best way to find it is gratitude, love. Look for the good and praise it. Emma's advice, right? She's got some good advice, and I love it. So I encourage you to have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, an enchanting day, a magical day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. All right, beloveds. I'm going to move on into the process of my day. I'm going to encourage you, if you want to know what's going on, there are book studies currently going on Mondays and Wednesdays, and whatever else we have going on. Email info@creativelife.org. Get on that constant contact list. That way you'll know what's going on even when I don't, especially if you're watching this video later on YouTube and the information has changed, then you will know. Catch us on all the social medias that we are on. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. And know that Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you at not 5 a.m. Oof, no, at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And have a great day. All right. Know that you're loved. And I will see you next time.